In this video tutorial, we're going to show you everything you need to know about Flux.1, the AI image generation app that's been making all the splash in the AI world today. We're going to show you how you can use it online and even how you can use it online and even how you can integrate it into your automations. Flux has been all the rage recently in the AI world because you can generate images like this. That's Barack Obama giving a class to children, telling them to subscribe to Nico, to this channel. And if you want to subscribe to my channel, I suggest you do as well. But the main thing here is that it makes incredible images. It makes text in the images really, really well and accurately. And also the restrictions are very, very minimal, particularly if you use it with the API. You can practically make anything except for pornographic images, which is pretty good and also terrifying at the same time. It's made by Black Forest Labs and it's open sourced, meaning that technically you can download the whole model and run it in your device, in your computer, but you need a pretty solid device to do so. So I'm going to show you how you can use it online just with a couple of cents. Before we get to that, one of the most important things that I think nobody talks about is the what's next section within Black Forest Labs, and they're working on a state-of-the-art text to video. Now, if it's as good as their text to image capabilities, I'm really excited to see what that looks like when it comes out. I'm sure it's going to be a really, really good competitor to things like Sora and Kling AI that are coming out at the moment. Regardless, we're going to at the end, I also have a little surprise for you on how to generate Flux prompts really easily. But if you want to try Flux, you're going to go to blackforestlabs.com. All the resources that I mentioned in the videos will be down in the description below. By the way, if you don't know me, my name is Nico. I run an online community, the AI Ranking Hub, where we teach people how to use all of these technologies to rank their websites #1 and how to automate a lot of these things to do so. A lot of fun. If you want to get serious about your SEO, I suggest you check that out. There's even a free community as well where we give most of the things where we give similar value as well. I suggest you check that out. So in Black Forest Labs, we're going to go to Get Flux, and there's 3 variations that we can try. Flux Pro, the best one. Flux Dev, which you can do a few more things with, and then the Schnell, which is the fastest version. So we're going to go and try it on the middle icon here, which is Fall AI. These are all websites that are hosting Flux, and you can try it on there, but I like Fall AI. It just makes things very simple. Now, for you, you're going to have this interface. However, you're going to have to make an account here, and to be able to make an account there, you need a GitHub account. So once you go through that process, and you've created an account, you can come back here, and this is a relatively simple interface that we've seen often. We have the playground, the API, requests, and analytics. We'll get to that in a second. But here we write the prompt and we're going to run it. You do need your credit card to be able to run this, but one generation costs about 5 cents. So you can put $10 into the billing, which you can see here. You can either top up credits or add an automated top up system. I only use $10 every now and then because that's enough for a couple of 100 images. So that's enough, and you do that in billing. I'm going to go back to my apps. This shows me the apps that I've used. I'm going to go to Flux Pro. So in here, let's create our own custom prompt. And because you've watched this video so far, I've got a little surprise for you. I've created a custom GPT that enhances the prompt specifically for Flux. I created this by training it on the best practices to prompt Flux. So let's say Donald Trump in a post-apocalyptic world holding a cardboard sign that says AI did this. Now, this GPT is set to give you 3 different parameters or 3 choices of the prompt, all with the best practices on how to prompt. And perfect. I'm going to just use variation 1 right away. Again, this custom GPT is going to be linked below in the description. I'm going to go back to Flux and I'm going to change this here and I'm going to run it. And as you can see, it's running at the moment because it's got very little constraints. And what I like about Flux is that it tells you this request will cost 5 cents. For $1, you can run this model approximately 20 times. I think it's a nice little user interface that Fall AI have provided. Let's see what the image comes up with. And sure enough, it's good old Donald Trump in a post-apocalyptic world. AI did this. A couple of things that we can change here. If we go down to additional settings, you can change the parameters of the image size and a few other things. The image size is your typical things, your square, portrait, landscape, yada yada. If you want to do, I'm going to do portrait. Now, more importantly, the seed refers to the image file, the image recognition file for this. And I can access that right now by going into preview, selecting JSON, and going into seed. We put that there, and then next time we do a prompt, it'll make sure that it creates it on the basis of that same image. The number of inference steps is the amount of variations that it's going to do before it provides you the image. I used to think that the more variations, the better the quality, but not so much. And then the guidance scale is how much you want it to strictly stick to your prompt word by word. Again, I thought the more the better, but it's not often the case. Actually, I found the sweet spot for it creating a really good image is about 2.5, so you give it a lot more variation and room to work with. The sync mode is that as soon as the image gets created, it'll upload it. Don't worry about that too much. And more importantly, the safety tolerance kind of speaks for itself. The higher the safety tolerance, the safer this is going to be. The lower, the more frisky it's going to be. Although using it within this user interface in full, it has by default some safety parameters on it. Regardless, we're going to work it. But let's see the differences, right? So we've changed a couple of things. We've changed the number of steps to 50, and we're going to change the guidance scale to 2. And the same seed number, meaning it's going to take the same image and do it again. So we're going to just put this one in another tab so we can refer to it later, and we're going to run it, and we're going to see the differences that it created. Nothing was created, so let's try that again. Maybe the guidance scale to 2.5. And the safety tolerance will change to 2 where it was before, and we'll run it. Perfect, and now you see how it's changed a little bit. Let's see the real changes. Obviously, we've changed the aspect ratio, so that's all right. And this one here, this one just looks a bit more grainy, but they're still pretty good. This one looks a bit more realistic. There's a few other tabs that you want to know. The API gives you all the API information of how you can call this. We use the HTTP to create this into a flow in Make. You can see that you can give the information on a JSON file. That is pretty easy. The others are the requests, meaning all of the previous requests that you've generated before. You can actually see them here, which is nice and handy. If I click play here, it'll show me the one that we generated before. Nice, so they're all saved. And finally, the analytics section is the analytics of how long it took to make it, the how many requests you've made and everything like that. If you need to keep track of that, that's there. Not particularly interesting for me anyway. There are more models that you can try that have been trained to do certain aspects in certain specific aspects. For example, Flux Realism LoRa is the one that you want to use to create very, very realistic looking images. Let's use this same one that we had before and see the image, see the differences. We're going to go to more and just give it some room to breathe here. We're going to go 2.5. And the scale we're going to leave as is and click run. The better the prompts, the better the image is going to be. That was quite quick. Yeah, and we see that this is slightly different now. It does look a little bit more real. Again, you can be the judge. I need to play with these models a little bit more. But the most important thing for me is that because you've got the API information here, you can call it in Make. We've made a module here already, which then we can connect to other flows that look like this. This flow here, we generated for our paid community, the AI Ranking Hub, this one here. So we created a detailed tutorial on how to use all of this with Make, so you can put it into your content automation workflow. It's this one here. You get started with Flux, integrate it with Make, and then train train Flux on your own images. That's coming soon. We even give the community the JSON file so they don't have to build the whole automation. But essentially this automation gets Perplexity to do some research once a week, and then these ChatGPTs to create and summarize the content. And here we call Flux to create the images that we use on social media. It's really good because it's quite cost effective, 5 cents to create an image. That's not bad. And you can even call it here. We've created a prompt, for example, and by putting all the information here, run it once, you see that it can create that call. And using Flux with the API means that you have little to no restrictions, making this a lot of fun, but also very dangerous, to be honest. We've already read cases of people being very much catfished with this technology. But if you use it with Make correctly, and you see the output here, the bundle, the data, and the images, it's going to give you a URL. And if you used Make before, then this URL you can do a lot of things with. You can download the file, you can do a bunch of things. And see the AI rank community, that was the prompt. There's a bunch of really interesting things that you can do with this. More importantly, you can train Flux, Laura on images of yourself or anyone else for that matter, which is again very fun, but also very terrifying. We're thinking of doing a tutorial for YouTube for this. We're creating one definitely for a whole tutorial series of this for the community. If you want to see a tutorial on how to train Flux on images of yourself, just leave it in the comments below. And if you want to see anything related to this and how we use it for SEO, again, let us know in the comments below. If you found value in this video, please give me a like and a subscribe. Thanks for watching. Cheers.